to GDPR World. Today we are examining one of the most challenging aspects of GDPR compliance, international data transfer. Let's start with the fundamental question: what exactly constitutes a transfer under GDPR? Article 44 defines when a transfer occurs, and it's broader than most people think. It applies whenever a GDPR subject, controller, or processor make personal data available to someone in third country. A third country is anywhere outside the EEA or an international organization. Once transferred, the data falls under the country's framework. That's why Chapter 5 safeguards exist. Transfers includes remote access. If someone in New York can view data stored in Frankfurt, it is a transfer. The method doesn't matter. Cloud, emails, APIs, or even hard drive. If it crosses jurisdictions, Chapter 5 applies. These rules come from Article 44, Recital 101 and EDPB guidelines. When does a transfer occur? Now that we know what transfer is, let's look at when transfer actually happens. Scenario 1. Direct electronic transfer, email, file transfer, APIs from Europe to third country. Scenario 2. Cloud storage outside the EEA. If servers are abroad, it's a transfer. Scenario 3. Remote access. Data stored in Europe but accessed from abroad still count as a transfer. Scenario 4. Onward transfer. When your third country recipient passes data to another third country entity, it's also a transfer. These 4 scenarios from EDPB recommendations and guidelines covers almost every modern data flow. There are 5 key facts of data transfer. Key fact number 1. Transfer needs on legal basis under Chapter 5, separate from Article 6. Article 44 sets a strict prohibition. Transfers may occur only if Chapter 5 conditions are met. You always need 2 legal bases. Article 6 legal basis for processing and valid Chapter 5 transfer mechanism. Consent or contract under Article 6 does not authorize a transfer. You still need Chapter 5 tool. Think of it as 2-lock system. Article 6 unlocks processing. Chapter 5 unlock international transfers. This comes from Article 44, Article 46 and Recital 101. The DPAs are actively enforcing it. Key fact 2. Transfers mechanism. Chapter 5 gives you 3 transfer mechanisms and you must choose the right one. First, Article 45. Adequacy decisions, the gold standard. If the Commission says a country is adequate, no extra safeguards are needed, but always check the scope. Some decisions have limits. Second, Article 46. Appropriate safeguards. Where most transfers happen. Main tools, SCCs, BCRs, and approved codes and certifications. Since SHAM2, they are not enough on their own. You must assess whether they work in practice. Third, Article 49. Derogations, emergency exit only. Explicit informed consent or contract necessity can apply, but they are not for routine or large-scale transfers. It fits only occasional exceptional cases. All of this come from Article 45 to Article 49 and EDPB guidelines. SHAM2 impact. SHAM2 case reshaped international transfer compliance. The court struck down the Europe-US privacy shield. It became invalid overnight. SCCs survived, but only if they ensure real protection in practice. They cannot override third country surveillance law. If government can access transfers data, SCCs alone are not enough. Exporters now must access third country laws before transferring data. No more signing SCCs and assuming compliance. EDPB clarified 4 duties. Transfer specific assessment, evaluate third country surveillance law, add supplementary measures when needed, document everything for accountability. This shift compliance from paperwork to proving actual effective protection. Key fact 4. Transfer Impact Assessment or TIA is now a core requirement after SHAM2. It evaluates whether third country laws or practices undermine your transfer safeguards. Step 1. Map the transfer. Identify actors, data flows, categories, tools, and destinations. Step 2. Assess third country laws. Look at surveillance and access powers. FISA, EO, China's DSL, CSL, Russia's SORN. Step 3. Apply supplementary measures, technical, organizational, or contractual safeguards tailored to your risk. Again, document everything required under Article 5.2 and expected during audits. TIA are now a regulatory expectations. If you transfer data without one, you are exposed to compliance risk. Key fact 5. Onward transfer. Onward transfers happen when your third country recipient passes data to another third country entity. GDPR requires you to maintain protection across the entire chain. First, the controller must authorize any sub-processor. Article 28(3)(a) requires specific original written approval. Second, must maintain same level of protection as the original transfer. Third, safeguards must flow down the chain. SCCs or equivalent protection laws must follow, and that also bind the sub-processor. Your responsibility does not stop with first processor. You must ensure every link in the chain is protected. Practical example. Europe to US cloud. Here's how to handle Europe to US cloud transfer after SHAM 2. US laws like FISA and EO allows governmental access, and Europe equivalent redress is limited. Exactly why Privacy Shield was struck down. Step 1. Use 2021 SEC decisions as your Article 46 safeguard. Step 2. Add strong technical measures, especially encryption with Europe-held keys, so the provider cannot decrypt data even if compelled. Step 3. Add contractual and organizational measures, notice of government request, transparency reporting, and strict data minimization. Step 4. Reassess regularly, monitor legal changes, provider practices, and your own data flows. US transfers are possible, but only with solid legal analysis, real technical protection, and continuous monitoring. 5 key facts to remember about GDPR transfers. 1. Transfer needs a Chapter 5 legal basis. Article 6 lets you process. Chapter 5 lets you transfer. You always need both. 2. GDPR defines the transfer mechanism. Adequacy decisions. Article 46 safeguards like SCCs, VCRs, and Article 49 derogations, and derogations are not for routine operations. 3. SHAM 2 changed everything. SCCs are valid only if they work in practice. You must assess third country law and add supplementary measures when needed. 4. TIA are required in practice. Assess the destination country's laws case by case. Identify risk, apply supplementary measures, and document everything for accountability. 5. Onward transfers must be controlled. Processors need your authorization for sub-processors, and same level of protection must flow through the entire chain. International transfers demand legal analysis, documented assessments, technical safeguards, and ongoing review. No shortcuts, no templates, no set and forget.